Okay. I think I'm live. We're going to find out. There's always a bit of a lag. Okay. All right. It says I'm live. Okay. It is now 8 o'clock. And yeah, it looks like I'm live. And for the moment, it's saying there's an excellent connection. I'm seeing on my monitor there that it looks like it's working. Usually there's a 1 or 2 second delay, something like that. I always like to get it since every once in a while I'll count the seconds between the actual broadcast and the delay when it comes up on YouTube. Anyway, so it is Saturday the 27th. It's 8 o'clock. It's January 27th. I just said that. Yeah. I'm on Instagram on my cell phone, and I'm on YouTube, and there's millions of people waiting to get in. I always say that I record and or do these out into the ether. It's a manner of trying to manifest. Maybe sponsorship deal with Virgil's root beer. You know, sponsorship maybe. The sugarless soda's really good. You know, I've been doing sort of somewhat regular streams for the past almost 2 years now, something like that. You know, I sort of just do it more toward when there's either special things going on, or like I just did a bunch at the holidays. I did a Christmas one. I did a 4-part Beatles listen along with the newest greatest hits releases, where basically I would kind of talk about the Beatles, the remixes. I have them on listening in my ear. You would put them on your ear, and then I would just kind of talk about it. For some reason, Instagram, even though it could not hear it, somehow was shutting it down, thinking somehow I was, just making up problems. And so I see Elliot. I see Elliot as Elliot. I'm sure you get that far too often. Sorry, dude. Thank you very much for the birthday props. So technically my birthday's tomorrow. It's a Sunday, but I'm not. In my head, I was thinking, should I do the stream on Sunday night? It's like, I gotta wake up the next morning to go to work, so I just as soon, I do it the night before. It's close enough. In much the same way so I was, I think everybody that knows me knows I'm kind of an open book about certain things in my life. So I go to regular therapy being about once a month these days. I might need more lately. I don't know. But anyway, so I've been doing that for a long time now. I mean, we're talking, I want to say 8 years, almost 9 years with the same therapist and stuff. And it's been very fruitful. It's very, very difficult and, challenging. And it's been work. It's been a lot of work. And, in my mind, it's like one should be able to get paid instead of having to pay to get your mental health in order. Anyway, so one of the things that so she mentioned, I said, so I'm obviously, so I'm technically turning 59, which was funny because all of last year in my head, I'm thinking I was going to be turning 58. And so I don't know. I think that's a subconscious or unconscious sort of idea that, like, I just kind of wasn't prepared of the reality that I'm this old at this point, and that somehow I'm still ambulatory. But anyway, so what she kind of pointed out is that, so long story, I will be 60 next year, not tomorrow, right? 60, looking at the calendaric, if that's the word, values of how we measure time. Hazard pay. I'll tell you what, this past week has been like that. We once you get back, we can chat. My friend Elliot from work is up on the YouTube site, just lurking. Elliot Miles McKinley is a musician, doctorate composer, teacher who has been in the process of recording various works of his own and also of his father, and so he is continuing to work on all of that stuff. And so if you are interested in potentially what his work is as a modern composer, musical composer, you want to look for his YouTube page as well. But anyway, so as I was mentioning, so I was talking to my therapist and about my age and turning all that, and that I'm technically turning 59 tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. I will be turning 59. And so she said, well, the way that it really works is that this is actually the start of your 60th year. So like you've been here 60 years. So it's counting. They don't start counting until you're a full year old, right? So it like just the sort of the technicality is that starting tomorrow, I will have been on the planet for 60-ish years, like it's my 60th year, if that makes sense. So if you can wrap your brain around it, it makes sense, right? Because I'm born in 1965, January 28th. So for a full year, I'm zero years old, right? So, and somehow suddenly my Instagram says, "Oh, pausing for poor connection." Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Instagram, get your shit together. Sorry, this is not your children's live stream. Anyway, so she kind of mentioned that technicality, and it's true. It's like the first year that you're born, you go from 0 to 1. So it's a bit of a mind fuck in that regard. So it's like in my head, I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay. It's just another way of looking at it for sure. But it just made me start to think. It's like, well, yeah, like I've said many times before, I never thought I would have made it on this cursed rock for this long, for various reasons. And I used to say when I was like 20 years old that I'm not going to make 40. And at the time I was probably on the road that I thought I was on, for sure. And when I turned 35 is when I decided, well, I'm going to stop drinking. Now, I think if I had not made that decision, I probably would have not been here. That's potentially another timeline or an alternate universe that happened. I did not stop drinking, and I probably, would have expired at 40-ish years old or whatever. Yeah, there's a reality out there somewhere where that happened, amongst many other potential realities that have branched off. So, all that said, so I, did the technically correct thing, and I mean, correct for me at the time, stopped drinking and moved forward as best as I could. Now, here we are 25-ish years later. Actually, it would have been 37 because I'm not 25 years sober, so that's a little closer. Anyway, so it all puts pause in my head as far as just trying to make sense of it all. Now, all that being said, I'm trying to kind of weave a little tale regarding this past year as far as mental health and the things that I have learned and or am learning regarding my own. And one of the things is that, as one sees and or meets people of different stripes and is online with them and talks with them and does, and then doing research and then doing, especially regarding my own symptomology of things. And what happens is one gets a bit of a crash course on things. So, and I remember very specifically saying to my therapist at one point, this is a few years back now, I had kind of started getting on a bit of a current cocktail of various other meds for different health ailments, but a couple for health, for specifically for the mind thing, which, makes it a little easier on a day-to-day for the most part, but doesn't make the full boat of symptomology go away or able to navigate easier in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that I was able to really kind of somewhat kind of curb were the panic attacks. Now, that being said, I say that and I knock wood because lately I've been having more problems in that regard. So I got to wonder to what degree that my my body's learning to dodge the meds to the degree where it's just not working as well as it was. Anyway, for a long story short, for a while though, it was doing some semblance of a good job in getting rid of my panic attacks, which were random a lot of the times and were seemingly triggered by nothing, which had long ago was called diagnosed as a generalized anxiety disorder, right? Which basically means that you're basically means your chemical soup is shit, someone put too much salt in the bouillabaisse, you know what I mean? So that's great. So, can't really point it to anything other than generalized childhood trauma, PTSD, whatever, what have you, and as much as there were aspects of my childhood that were definitely traumatic and definitely were not normal in any way, shape, or form, I have met people and I've seen situations that are so much more horrific than mine ever were. So I can balance out at least some of it with some good memories of things that I was able to that I hold on to and kind of slightly balance it a little bit anyway. So it's not just like my childhood was completely shit, So it's like I'm lucky in that regard. I have at least maybe if not fully 50-50, maybe a 65-45 or something like that kind of balance, or for 35. Anyway, so one of the things that I remember saying to her is that I feel like there's just I've hit a place where I for the most part handled most of my childhood things, gleaned what I could from it, understood it, put it in a box, put it away. To me, but that there's just this ceiling of, and I remember saying it was like, feeling like that I'm walking through mud all the time, that I can't break through ceilings of like my creativity, my creative, urges and ambitions or whatever. Starting to do a thing is the worst and the hardest thing to try and do, and that bleeds over into work as well. Work has become more and more difficult especially with more and more lately, more and more responsibilities that are different and new, and I'm having to learn a lot of things. So my brain is really overwhelmed right now a little bit. So all of these things are things that I've dealt with all of my life. Now, I obviously started to self-medicate early on in my we're probably talking, my first drunken episode was at, I believe it was either 13 or 14, where you're like blackout drunk. And this was in front of my family at my grandmother's like post funeral get together at my uncle's house. I was trying to keep up with my cousins because they were all alcoholics, of course. So guess what? Mini Alky here decided, oh, all right, I'm gonna follow suit, right? Blackout drunk, but oddly, I will never forget it because I do remember it very well. But anyway, so that was the start of a very interesting journey of self-medication, and the misidentification that it was the drinking that was the problem, that somehow was causing the problems. It's like, no, the drinking was just symptomatic of deeper seated chemical issues. So, and then all that time through that, I'm still functioning. I'm a pretty high functioning drunk. I go to work. I was doing music in bands, doing that lifestyle, pretty successfully considering. At the time at least, the fact that I never, as much as I would get drunk and fucked up and stuff, I never, as far as I remembered, ever didn't get up to go to work. As much as I would go to work and felt like shit and probably be still drunk when I would still go to work. And that, that followed suit. I was basically a functional drunk. Fast forward to 37-ish or whatever the hell age I was, where I stopped drinking and I realized it was a real problem, becoming even more of a problem. But I'm still, up to that point, still doing a lot of music, still doing the lifestyle, still going to work every day. Just getting to the point where I'm blacking out and getting home, having driven home on my own and somehow getting there without remembering how I got home. Somehow the car's parked in the driveway and it's somehow straight, and I haven't killed anybody, at least in this timeline. So it was sort of like one of those moments of like, I think I need to stop. This is not leading into a good place. There's going to be a night where I try to drive home blackout drunk, speeding along the highway, and I'm going to fucking kill somebody, if not myself. So I do that, and then the subsequent post-drinking mind fuck of being basically a dry drunk for at least 5 or 6, 7 years after the fact. So mentally kind of still not really doing well. However, I was still doing, and got to remember all through drinking like crazy, also a caffeine addict too. So it continued the caffeine thing. If anything, I ramped it up after I stopped drinking normally. I leaned into the caffeine habit via Coca-Cola. Mostly that was my drug of choice. I didn't drink coffee, so it was it was caffeine and sugar. And throughout that, same thing. I would work. I would go to work. I would do my music somewhat ambitiously. However, I always identified issues of just getting started, just feeling like everything was a slog, everything was difficult, learning new things was difficult. That has been all my life now, but it was sort of masked somewhat by all of this intake. Fast forward again to, we're talking probably up to the point where I'm about 55, right? So at this point, I have a house, and I'm still in the current job that I have had for the past 22 years. It'll be 22 years in February, yeah. Hazard pay, as my friend Elliot mentions. Yeah. So all through that, a lot of moments of strife on the job with certain people, and but I get through it. I somehow make it work to the best of that I can. But I'm also at that point, I'm also in therapy at this point, but also realizing that I have some other physical ailments that I have to start really getting serious about. So one of the things I try to start doing is to really rein in my caffeine intake, because I was still pretty hot and heavy up through this point. So I start ramping that down, like a lot. Like we're talking by, multitudes of hundreds of percent, stopped drinking Coca-Cola, the sugar intake alone of all that was just like, I was pre-diabetic, all this kind of shit. So I had to stop. There was a lot of things I had to stop. So I do that, and there's like kind of an inevitable, I don't stop it altogether. Like I still drink caffeine, but not anywhere near to the degrees I used to. So go through the sort of the withdrawals of that, which are not pretty. And what I'm noticing is, especially more within the past year or two, maybe 2 or 3. I mean, COVID, the year 2020, the year COVID, and into 21 were very difficult years in general. But I was still, at least, as much as I might have been cutting down, I still had a semblance of like a little clarity through the mud, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but everything was still very difficult to do. Everything was still a slog. I had started doing college classes and things, which I inevitably stopped because it was too difficult. It was too much pressure. It was too difficult. I just said, I can't, as much as, and they were free because of where I work. It's like, and people saying, oh, you really should take some courses so you can get the piece of paper. It's like, okay. I was doing it more for their sake than I was doing it for mine, for sure. But at least at the time, it made sense. I was trying to work with, and there was a plan for a specific, a track of study for a specific type of diploma or whatever. I just couldn't do it. So I didn't really horribly surprise myself that it was going to be a failure, but it just went towards like how difficult I always felt it was, especially like in high school, learning things just in general. And it's not like some folks like who had things like dyslexia, like real kind of more tangible kinds of like literally can't read like writing in front of them because of the nature of how the letters would scramble or whatever it was. Whatever, like literal learning disabilities. I was never diagnosed with any kind of learning disability. However, I have always had a very difficult time just ingesting knowledge, really, and retaining it, especially. I've always kind of learned by doing things, by kind of just, if I get excited, especially like music and stuff like that. I just learned by doing, But I learned better by doing, put it that way. So up to now, the present day, or the past couple of years, think the focus is just really out of focus. The focus is out of focus. That's the only way I can really kind of say it. Any ambition toward being creative lately has just been like not there. I'm not a creative person right now. By any stretch. Doing what I'm doing here with this, talking to the millions of people out there, is not a big stretch creatively. These days, any schmuck with a computer and a webcam can go online and talk a good game and be a completely talentless slob. That's the thing I've noticed this past year, is that there's people, the toxic aspect of being online or on these platforms is such where you can, it doesn't matter if you have any actual talent or all. So if you've got a loud mouth and an opinion, all you need is a platform and a fucking and a Wi-Fi account, and you're good to go, and you can utter and say the dumbest fucking shit and monetize it, which I find fucking galling. But we won't get into that, shall we? My journey is such, whereas I would love to be able to make money off of talking on a microphone, either in a capacity as of a podcast or a web stream, or about music, about whatever it might be. I have my own opinions, and I have a webcam and a Wi-Fi account, so I can do the same thing. I would want it to just be about something a little more creative, or at least inspiring, for fuck's sake, to the millions and millions of people out there. Anyway, lately, or the past 2 or 3 years, I've been in the process of doing what research I can do as it goes. I mean, I'm no doctor for sure, but there's plenty online, and there's plenty of people that I know and people that I can ask about things. That and I certainly don't want to. It's not me jumping on a bandwagon by any stretch, because I don't want to be on the bandwagon if I don't have to be. I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy. If anything, I tend to avoid the bandwagons. Always have. However, the more research I would be doing into ADHD, especially adult ADHD, has been an eye-opening and fraught and frustrating experience, mainly because everything that I have looked at and researched, especially about symptomology and about diagnoses and the effects of undiagnosed ADHD in people, and what the symptomology is like, has been on the one hand revelatory for me, especially regarding like and reverberating, if we're talking how echoes work, reverberating to my childhood struggles and learning, being able to learn or sit still. I had an aunt / cousin who was a child psychologist or therapist back in the day. We're talking the 60s and 70s. And she once apparently told my mother that I was hyperactive. And at the time, hyperactive meant, unable to focus, right? Which is ridiculous, because on some levels, yeah, that was true. But on a lot of other levels, I could sit and read through an encyclopedia for hours. But I also did a lot of TV watching and binging, and so there was a lot of behaviors that nowadays potentially would have been medicated. Now, might have been medicated poorly or wrongly, but it makes it just ties in with everything that I've been thinking, that even back then I was displaying problems that were never diagnosed and never handled. I was never taken in to see somebody. Clearly, either my mother or my father, they didn't, I don't want to say that they didn't care, but they didn't do anything, so you make of that what you will. Up through all of this time, just the things that I look back on now, that ADHD fills in the puzzle pieces that are missing, of things like the learning issues that I would have, my attention issues, starting things and not finishing them, generalized depression and anxiety disorder. I mean, all of these things that, like, generalized meaning like there's not necessarily a fucking trigger, there's not necessarily a cause other than ADHD. Just the dopamine doesn't work, and it goes to show in my drinking, in my OCD, in my obsessive compulsive areas, all those areas that, in self-medication, trying to just make things better, or to numb myself to the degree where I wasn't feeling the sludge, or trying to get out of the sludge. And the sludge, just because as I've gotten older, just gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and that's the hard part. Now, I'm not diagnosed yet. I went through in August to try and get diagnosed. They said, oh yeah, it looks like you would be a good candidate, blah, 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 blah. And I go through the 4-hour test that triggers a 2-day fucking panic attack. Yet somehow I'm not, they don't diagnose me as having it. They say I'm somehow not, it's not, I'm like, it's not, I'm not, I don't know, I somehow don't fit the spectrum. I don't know. I was like, I can't, it's ridiculous. It makes no fucking sense what in the world. So I go through all this bullshit, and I'm stuck where the fuck I am, and getting worse, and feeling overwhelmed. And so I am trying to kind of just get by as best as I can, in the hopes that something will happen, hopefully with my primary care doctor, who is trying to see if he can be of assistance, because he thinks I have it. My therapist thinks I have it, yet the people that actually do the fucking thing to diagnose you don't think I have it. Yet all the signs are fucking there. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. The only thing that I was able to determine with this with this the testing that I did was that, yeah, there are some aspects of things that I'm very, very good at, like spatial shape relations, and which makes sense to like how I learn. And but then, you know, the deficits of certain other areas of learning that I don't have, like regarding memory specifically. But then yet somehow I'm also got a higher IQ than most. Oh, goody, goody, goody. I mean, who the fuck cares? I mean, if I'm unhappy and frustrated and fucking overwhelmed all the time and depressed, who cares how fucking smart I am? You know, Jesus Christ. It's like, you know, so, yeah, great. Thanks for the news, but can you fucking help me or not? You know what I mean? It's like feeling like, yo, I found this pot of gold, but I can't fucking open the lid, you know? What's the point? Anyway, so that's my current journey. Right now, things are a little difficult health-wise, so it's hard to kind of even get up to do anything like this, for that matter. Everything is a slog. Everything is very, very difficult, and trying really hard to just kind of maintain as best as I can, get to work when I can. You know, it's all I can do. You know, and I'm still trying to recover monetarily and financially from COVID. You know, and that's, you know, I mean, it's only going as well as anybody else is having the issues they're having with just the cost of living and how it's not changing, and the fact that, like, you know, corporations, as much as their bottom line is no longer affected by inflation and all that stuff, they're not bringing their prices down because they don't want to give up on that money. So unless they get regulated to do so, they're not going to bring those prices down, and we're just going to continue to fail and fail and fail. And everybody's going to be continue to not have money, and everybody's going to continue to be basically working poor. You know, right now corporations and aspects of the federal government want me to work until I'm fucking 70. Fuck you, asshole. I'll shoot myself in the fucking head first, and I'll make sure I do it on the steps of some fucking politician somewhere who made that fucking who made that a case, right? So I can tell you what, motherfucker. Here's where that leads to for a lot of people. But yeah, so that's kind of my update for the past month. Kind of getting in between coming out of the holiday season and then back into work. Now we're back into the full semester starting, and it has been a very rough month. It's been a very difficult month of not getting a lot of work done. And being very behind. And I don't just mean at work, I mean here at home. I mean just things that I need to try and get done, and things that I'm trying to do, trying to get back on my feet financially, that, you know, just doing the best that I can. Excuse me, just trying to get whatever credit score, now that, because we're now a credit score society, and you know, it's hard to believe that in my lifetime, that wasn't a thing, like earlier in the very early 80s, late 70s. Credit score was not an arbiter of your ability to either pay or repay a loan or whatever it might be, you know. I'm paying a fucking mortgage every month and a car payment every month. And yeah, don't get me wrong, I've never been the best with my money, and that's been a symptom of my situation as well. And not to boo-hoo at all, because but you know, when you're given a shit draw of the cards, it's like, well, that's the hand you've been dealt. So guess what? You got to play it. It's like, okay, all right, I'll play the hand, but what am I supposed to do? It's just it's a losing hand no matter what I you know. So I try to manifest. I try to be as positive as I possibly can, and you know, I mean, it's all I can do, but it's really fucking hard. And you know, they say, oh, the universe has plans for you, and the universe is always on time, and blah blah blah. It's like, is it? Okay, fine. Well, it's about time, motherfucker. Unless I'm paying for something in another lifetime, then fucking what the hell, man? You know, throw me a fucking bone. You know. I won't get into things about work because that could take me down a really bad rabbit hole right now. Because yeah, it's not helping my current mental state. I'll tell you that. Um, Put it this way: by this time, well, not by this time, by June of this year, I will have a much better idea of where I'm going to be as far as either employment wise or non employment wise. We'll see. We'll see. I have to set a boundary at this point, and I have to basically draw a line in the sand, and there has to be some reciprocity, and there has to be something different, because this is not a long term for any solution either on my end or theirs, to be honest. So anyway, that's my ADHD update. So the one thing I did want to add to that. So the other thing about the substance abuse part of that. So if you're looking at the medications that do get prescribed for ADHD, Adderall type things, those are all amphetamine based, right? So do the math, and I've done the math about like my caffeine intake, and the fact that when I was in my teens and 20s, I was a speed freak. I used to like speed. It made me feel good and made things work. Funny, huh? Yeah, funny. How's that possible? So, you tell me that those puzzle pieces don't fit. They fit fucking perfectly. That intrinsically the thing that I was craving from those amphetamines, illegal ones, of course, whatever is part of those things, whether it was caffeine based or whatever it was, it's like, that's what flicked my mind and got me through the sludge. Until I hit the wall, of course, because I was abusing it, and then I went on to just abusing caffeine because, hey, guess what? It's legal. So anything caffeinated or, caffeine based, there you go. No, I was not a Coke addict in any way, shape, or form. I only did Coke once, didn't like it. And so, I even had my boundaries there. So here I am at 50, almost 60, if not 60, looking for an ADHD medication that more than likely is amphetamine based. So talk about, like, if that happens, that would be a full circle situation. That intrinsically my mind or my body, my chemical essence was attracted to things that my body was needing and craving since I was 15 fucking years old. Right? So yeah, it's frustrating, it's galling, it's just like it makes me angry that all of this time of my life has been wasted. It feels like a lot of waste. A lot of strife, a lot of pain, a lot of fucking slog. And here I am potentially at the end of it. Knock wood. I hope I'm true. I hope I'm trying to remain hopeful here that there's some fucking forward motion in this fucking shit. But I'm getting impatient. I'm getting impatient with that. I'm getting impatient with work situation. I'm getting impatient about my finances. I'm getting impatient about a lot of fucking shit. And I mean, at least maybe it's a good sign that at that point there's gonna be a breaking point where I'm just gonna say, can't do this anymore. I can't fucking do this anymore. Either I need to get the help I need. If I either need to get the medical help that I need, and or the financial support I need, or I need another plan while I'm on this fucking cursed rock, right? And I've got different potential ideas, but to the degree that I can really get them to work or put them into play, I just don't know. I certainly don't want to go an illegal route for medication, because God knows, I don't, I want to be able to do this with my doctor at my side, my team of doctors by my side, So, yeah, do the math. I've been doing the math. And ironically, not a math major by any stretch, but the math all makes sense. And my doctor agrees, as does my therapist, as does the research. It all fucking makes sense. There was a reason why the sort of, drinking was a depressant, but at least it was numbing enough to where the slog or the vibration of the slog or the mud was somehow dampened down. But amphetamines was a whole other thing. It rocked my world in a good way, and I always had a good time on it. So, stimulants. There you go. Anyway, that's, I don't know if, for the millions of people out there listening, this may come across as a bit of a bummer, but, it's like, well, it's not. It's just, this is the current thing. This is me. It is what it is. But the biggest thing that I really want to be able to get out of this, especially if I'm able to get some help this year, is like, I want to get back to being somewhat of a creative person, let alone just cleaning my fucking house, But, getting back into a better financial situation would be also helpful, so that I could fix the house up, do the things I need to do. I mean, certain things have to happen in a certain order for the things that I want to do to be able to do. And here's the thing, positive manifestation aside, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm trying to do that, but it's really fucking hard when you're battling uphill, I'm like and through the mud and the rain, and there's no one to help, and it is, it's real difficult. It's real difficult. Now, that said, last October, I had some help from some people that really had my back about when my car was needing a lot of repairs. That came out of nowhere, to be honest. I mean, so I am really grateful for that, and I'm hoping that the echo of that I can push into the new year as far as the positivity part of it. So I am trying. I am going to do what I can. It is what it is. At that point, for tonight, I mean, I it being my birthday, this being a stream, like, even the urge or the possibility to pick up the guitar and play right now is, this is where my brain chemistry takes over, and not in a good way. In the past, it wouldn't have been a question. I have also not played in, I don't know. Well, I played last month. I did play some. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's whether I really want to play any music tonight or not. I don't know. I mean, if I pick up the guitar, I suppose I could try and busk through something. They're not going to shut me down, I suppose. Well, I haven't prepared the guitar either. See how that might work or not. I bought some new fingeries that I don't know will either work or it won't, depending. I haven't tried it before. It smells nice. Let's see. Alright, well, that's probably about as in tune as that's gonna get. So let's see. Yeah, what to play? I mean, like I said, I am very rusty, so I will play a little bit and see how I'm. Well, the thing that I tend to warm up on is something that I can pull out of my ass because I've done it a number of times. So I'll just do that as a. There's a certain something in the way you looked at me and said you'd stay that let me know that I was out of line. I didn't know what else to do, and like a fool I tested you by demanding things of you which weren't mine. And now I feel like such a fool for making you crawl back to me. But you did it with such love that you're standing far above me. And all I did to you, I'm sorry now, what can I do? I know that never in the world could I have found me such a girl who's there to pick me up before I fall. And if in the end we should go both our separate ways, I know the lesson I've learned here is worth it all. And now I feel like such a fool for making you crawl back to me. But you did it with such love that you're standing far above me. And all I did to you, I'm sorry now, what can I do? I know that never in the world could I have found me such a girl who's there to pick me up before I fall. And if in the end we should go both our separate ways, I know the lesson I've learned here is worth it all. A little Nesmith there for you, because I can. can do this one, I think. I'll try and do it. It's a Fairport Convention song. When the stone is grown too cold to kneel, in crystal waters I'll be found. Coldest stone, weary to the sounds upon the wing. Now be thankful, all good things below. Now be thankful to your Maker. For the rose, the red rose blooms for all who know. When the fire's grown too fierce to breathe, in burning irons I'll be bound. Fiercest fire, weary to the sounds upon the wing. Now be thankful for good things below. Now be thankful to your Maker. For the rose, the red rose blooms for all who know. When the stone is grown too cold to kneel, in crystal waters I'll be found. Coldest stone, weary to the sounds upon the wing. Now be thankful for good things below. Now be thankful to your Maker. For the rose, the red rose blooms for all who know. Alright. That was a good one to play, I think. Try to, anyway. Let's see. See if there's anything that I can play that's not going to kill me. I mean, there's a bunch of things, and this is what happens is, like, I'll start to play and then it becomes sort of easier somehow. Or no, if not easier, at least like I kind of get over the hump. It's so hard to just start, and I don't know why it's so hard to just start. I just don't understand why it's so difficult. Really, I don't get it. Yeah, let's see. Now I'm just looking through my big pile here of things. Let's see. Let's see if we can do this one. It's a Nick Drake song called Northern Sky. Never felt magic crazy as this. I never saw moons, knew the meaning of the sea. Never held emotion in the palm of my hand, or felt sweet breezes at the top of a tree. But now you're here, bright in my northern sky. Been a long time that I'm waiting. Been a long time that I'm blown. Been a long time that I've wandered through the people I've known. Oh, if you would and you could straighten my new mind's eye. Would you love me for my money? Would you love me for my head? Would you love me through the winter? Would you love me till I'm dead? Oh, if you would and you could, come blow your horn on. I never felt magic crazy as this. I never saw moons, knew the meaning of the sea. I never held emotion in the palm of my hand, I felt sweet breezes in the top of a tree. But now you're here, bright in my northern sky. Saying hello to some folks coming up. Let's see. Kind of just playing the stalwarts tonight. how ambitious I'm feeling of playing horribly difficult things. Like a firework to which we're tied. Be prepared to go through your ceiling now. The loving's coming. The loving's more than just an advanced vision. The loving's strumming on your heartstrings, so loud that you can't help but listen. Sailors on the seas, or the clergy on their knees, need the loving. All the rich and poor, even those we fight a war, need the loving. That thing that we need most of, that stuff we should try before we die. Everyone is begging to be loved, with a free gift of working hard inside. The loving's coming. The loving's advertised in all the papers. The loving's humming your favorite song, but for once it won't annoy the neighbors. That alien race need the loving. And just to end the list, everything that could exist needs the loving. The loving's coming. The loving's coming. The loving's coming. We can only hope that that's the case. Yeah. Let's see. I haven't done this one in a while, so let's see if I can get it right. such an early song. I've heard a rumor from ground control. Oh no, don't say it's true. They got a message from the action man. I'm happy, hope you're happy too. I've learned all I've needed, love, sordid details following. The shrieking of nothing is killing, just pictures of chap girls in synthesis. And I ain't got no money and I ain't got no hair, but I'm hoping to kick, but the planet is glowing, 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 glowing. Ashes to ashes, funk to funky. We know Major Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low. Time and again I tell myself I'll stay clean tonight, but the little green wheels are following me. Oh no, not again. I'm stuck with a valuable friend. I'm happy, hope you're happy too. One flash of light, but no smoking pistol. I've never done good things, I've never done bad things. I never did anything out of the blue. Oh, I want an axe to break the ice. I wanna come down right now. Ashes to ashes, funk to funky. Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. Probably still my favorite Bowie song, more than likely. Let's see. A big pile of papers here. They're about ready to fall down, so hang on one second. All right. Let's see. Let's see. to be here when I can. When I come home cold and tired, it's good to warm my bones beside the fire. Far away across the field, the tolling of the iron bell calls the faithful to their knees to hear the softly spoken magic spells. The lunatic is on the grass. The lunatic is on the grass, remembering games and daisy chains and laughs. Got to keep the loonies on the path. The lunatic is in the hall. The lunatics are in my hall. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor, and every day the paper boy brings more. And if the dam breaks open many years too soon, and if there is no room upon the hill, and if your head explodes with dark forebodings too, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Is in my head. The lunatic is in my head. You raise the blade, you make the change, you rearrange me till I'm sane. You lock the door and throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. And if the cloud bursts thunder in your ear, you shout and no one seems to hear. see, all that you taste, all you feel, and all that you love, and all that you hate, all you distrust, all you save, and all that you give, and all that you deal, all that you buy, beg, borrow, or steal, and all you create, and all you destroy, and all that you do, and all that you say, and all that you eat, and everyone you meet, and all that you slight, and everyone you fight, and all that is now, and all that is gone, and all that's to come, and everything under the sun is in June, but the sun is eclipsed by the moon. There is no dark side of the moon, really. Matter of fact, it's all dark. Yeah. It's all dark. All right. Let's see. I've been going about an hour, almost an hour and a half now. So let me just do maybe one more here, and I'm gonna leave it. I guess the question is, do I leave it on a hopeful note, or I suppose I could try to be a little more hopeful, to leave the night. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Well, definitely don't want to do that one. I was gonna say I'll do Long Black Veil. It's like, I could maybe do this one. This is one of the more hopeful songs that Pete Townsend ever wrote, I suppose. I suppose I could end on this one. Yeah, so I've been going about an hour and a half. Like I said, my streaming is a thing where, it's sort of an ongoing quest to do it regularly or not, and just waving to people, and it just, like I said, for those that weren't here earlier, just lamenting on the current state of my headspace, and so it actually takes a lot of mental effort to do this for some reason, and it's getting kind of worse and worse. So I'm going to do it for as long as I can. That's all I can do, and we'll see what happens. I would love to do it more often. If I didn't have to work every day, well, maybe things. But that's that's the lament that all of us have, I suppose. So on that note, I think I will end it with this one, and then from there, it would just be a matter of when do I do the next one? This being my 60th. Well, tomorrow technically is my birthday. I was just doing it the night before because I didn't want to do a stream on a Sunday night. So, I don't know when, as far as any kind of special, I'll have to think of the other special potential reasons to do a streaming other than just to do one, I suppose. So I'll think about when the next one to do. Originally I was thinking, I'd want to do one. I was going to, over a year ago, I was trying to do one every day, and then that kind of got petered out I did that for a few months, but that was difficult to do. But then, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I can get back on a schedule, work being what it is, it's very difficult to kind of get the energy up to do it sometimes. And yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll try and do more. If people are desiring it, there's millions and millions of people out there desiring me to be doing this, because God knows there's such a high demand for an old hairy motherfucker doing journeyman versions of old cover tunes. That's the reality, folks. On that note, when people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating and you can't seem to get enough, let my love open the door, let my love open the door, let my love open the door to your heart. When everything feels all over, when everybody seems unkind, I'll give you a four-leaf clover, take all worry out of your mind. Let my love open the door, let my love open the door, let my love open the door to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. The only key to your heart, I can stop you falling apart. Try today, I'll find this way. Come on, give me a chance to say, let my love open the door. It's all I'm living for. Release yourself from misery. There's only one thing gonna set you free. That's my love. That's my love. Let my love open the door. 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 When tragedy befalls you, don't let it drag you down. Love can cure your problems. You're so lucky I'm around. Let my love open the door. My love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Yeah, I was stifling a cough throughout a lot of that. All right. Okay, so I think that's all for me for the night. I'm going to go. My cat is being very, very patient with me ignoring him, so. Excuse me. Anyway, like I said, that'll be it for me for tonight. I don't know exactly the next time I will do a stream, but all of my pre-recorded streams from the past are up on YouTube on my channel. The 4-part Beatles remixed listen along series is up there, and actually looks like people, even though they weren't necessarily there live for it when I was doing it, the recording seem to be getting listened to, which is kind of cool. Basically, what you do, you need to buy the new Beatles remix greatest hits records, the red and blue albums. It has to be the remix versions because that's the whole point of it. You basically listen along as I listen along. It's basically a lot of video of me on my headphones, just kind of jibber-jabbering either on top of the songs or in between. But I tell you when to pause and start a song, and you listen to my my thoughts about the whole thing, and it's the good things about it, the bad things about it, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, they're up there again. It's in 4 parts. Part 1 is the first half of the 62 to 66 album. Part 2 is the second part of the 62-66 album. Part 1 of 67 to 70, and then part 4 is from the second half of 67-70. So a lot of content there. They're all about 2.5 hours long, those ones are. So yeah, anyway, so go check them out if you're so inclined. Some folks have actually asked, maybe to do more things like that, and trying to figure out a best way to do it, because obviously YouTube or a lot of the platforms, they don't allow you to listen or retape, re-record the actual pieces because you get flagged. So I figure the easiest way to do it is to do a listen along, excuse me. But there's got to be a way around it because I see other people doing it. So I'll have to try one down the road where I actually play the music and see what happens. Though Instagram shut me down twice during 2 of them. So and even though I wasn't playing the music, somehow Instagram, I don't know, maybe could hear it through my headphones, and the algorithm was that sensitive where it could literally hear it being played. So I don't know. So very, very strange. Yeah, all right. On that note, it's 9:34. It's Saturday, January 27th. In less than 24 hours, I will be technically 59, though it will be my 60th year on the planet, on the Cursed Rock, as I've been calling it lately. On that note, I hope to have better news coming up, diagnostic-wise and stuff. So hopefully, depending on what happens, that might be a good reason to do a stream if it's all good news or whatever news for that matter. I can let people know for for the millions and millions of people out there who really need to know how I'm doing, and I'll put it up here. So, all right. On that note, I'm out of here. Good night, all. Have a good evening wherever you are. Try to take it easy. I'm saying that to myself as much as I am saying it to you. Later on.